Hey, it's Alex Massive. This week, I wanted to review the Joe Satriani and Sammy Hagar Best of All Worlds tour, um, the Tampa, Florida show from this past Sunday. So let me start by saying it was a last minute purchase. I brought my family, and it was at the Mid Florida Credit Union Amphitheater in Tampa, and we did not check the weather beforehand. We were looking forward to a nice, summer evening out with the family, seeing some good old fashioned rock and roll. And we were treated to about 2 hours of straight thunderstorms, lightning bolts all around, rain going half sideways. Um, we kind of huddled indoors under cover. We didn't want to go anywhere near the lawn, which is we were in the general admission area, so it was kind of a trial. But man, it was a heck of a show. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so first I wanted to start with the layout of the amphitheater and make sure you can see that. Okay. So if you'll see here down at the bottom, it says festival lawn seating. And this is basically where we were. Okay. And you'll see how small the lawn seating is relative to the seats and the seats. So I guess it's kind of a small amphitheater compared to some of the other ones that I had grown up going to. So in this amphitheater, they had gigantic speakers, up on posts here and here and here and here. And, we were kind of all the way at the back. We didn't want any trouble. We were just, wanted to enjoy the music, stay away from all the chaos, and just kind of, look down and watch. And I had a first time concert goer there, and I did not want them to, you know, get too much of the loud music effect. And one thing that happened was, um, okay, let me just say the audio was amazing. The modern technology, the 24-bit processing. Let's go. I heard the drums, the vocals, the guitar, the bass clearly, crisply, with power, with personality, with resonance. But oh my gosh, it was loud. They were blasting this speaker and this speaker. And no matter where we went, it was just loud, loud, loud. So I ended up getting us the earplugs. There's no shame in that. We're all getting older. You got to do what you got to do. And the earplugs saved the day. Even with the earplugs, you could still hear everything crisp and clear. So fantastic. I took some recordings of it, and we're going to listen to them. But yeah, I just wanted to say, this is where we were, and it was pouring rain at times. We didn't come up here until the lightning had stopped, and the opening band didn't even get to play. When they finally came out, though, you didn't care about the rain. Everybody was into the music. It was fantastic. Okay, so let's go back here real quick. So let me just say, I went to this show. I was missing Eddie, man, like totally missing Eddie, and I for some reason I thought this would be more of like a tribute to Eddie, where let's just explore him and celebrate him. And it had that vibe at times, but at other times it felt like a Sammy show. And I've seen Van Halen a bunch. I've seen Sammy a bunch as well, and I love the vibe. But the vibe of both those shows is a little bit different. With Van Halen, it's like it's a party, but it's like they're coming in on another level, and you just know like they're above everyone else there. Like Eddie is just this magician. I don't know, and Alex as well. But this was more of, with Sammy, it's more about the party and the vibe and the grooves, and it's amazing as well. But you could definitely feel the absence of Eddie and Alex at this show. So it kind of left me, just wanting Eddie even more. And that's not to take away from Joe Satriani, because he's one of the best guitar players ever, hands down. And I thought he nailed the parts. But man, it just left me. I missed Ed. I missed those times just chanting Eddie, 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 waiting for him to come out to do his solo, and he would just kind of chill out. Sometimes he'd play for like 10, 15 minutes, and yeah, just I really missed that. So, but let me tell you, Joe the Satch, man, the guy's on a different planet. He's got his whole own separate vibe, and there were parts in the songs where he just soloed and he did it his way. He went into his comfort zone, and he was not trying to replicate Eddie exactly. He was doing his own thing, and it sounded really, really cool. There was a couple songs here. Let's go in. Let me play a couple. All right. Let's go to, okay. This was one of my favorite ones. Oh my goodness. I think this was Eddie at his peak. Here, let me just play it. Got a little excited there. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so the old school people, if you're out there, are probably like, shut up. That's not even their best song. And I know it's not, but where Eddie was musically, was his riffs he was just going somewhere that was incredible. Everything he did on Balance was so good. And the album before, this song was awesome. So glad to hear him play this out of nowhere. And I thought Joe nailed it on this song. Okay, let me play another one. Okay, this shows Joe kind of just jamming out. And I did it kind of at a chill moment. I don't like to sit there and record the whole show, but I thought this was a cool kind of like laid back moment one of the few moments I felt like taking my phone out. Check it out. Check out Satriani Jam. Yeah, really, really cool. There was a lot of places. I'm sure a lot of people are already posting a lot of places where Satriani just jammed his style during the breakdowns, and that's what I always loved about Van Halen songs is they left room for each player to kind of have a part in the song, to kind of do their own thing, to pulse and to surge. Really, really cool. Okay, now here was my favorite part. I hadn't heard this song in a long time, and I thought this was one of my favorite Van Halen songs. And he's very in the pocket with the drums, whereas Eddie was a little more frantic. But yeah, check this out. This is 5150, I think. Here. Let's go. Yeah, sorry. Again, I wish I had recorded the whole thing. I could sit here and listen to it now. But I wanted to enjoy the moment when I was there. So, yeah, great show. It was kind of in between like the really good Sammy show and then, the classic Van Halen shows. So just as let me show you the contrast. This is, I think, an old Van Halen video, 1989. Let's play a little bit. Hopefully we don't get claimed. I'll just play a couple seconds here. Listen to that. just a little ahead the beat, but he's got this groove, this frantic. Matt, I don't want to play too much of it, but just his fingers are just magic. So that I was missing that, and that's not to take away from Satriani. Satriani is incredible, and seeing him do the Van Halen songs with Sammy was amazing. And he did things that where he was in the zone in the pocket doing his thing, and it was fantastic. And you can look that stuff up online. But gosh, it just makes me miss Eddie even more, dude. Oh, why can't you be here, man? Um, I really feel that if he was here and he was making music right now, this whole 24-bit mixing and just how deep and how big you can make the sounds in the console. Once Eddie had a feel for that, he would be continuing to revolutionize the whole sound again. So that just it really just it hits me because he was just as much of a scientist as he was a guitar player. He was always searching for those sounds and those tones, and then he had the goods to go out and just play it. And I'll give Satriani credit on this show, this concert. Man, he had it. He definitely he had the tone, he had the sound, he had the finger movements, but he didn't have that. You know, Eddie was never. I don't think Eddie was ever perfectly in time. Eddie was always just kind of a little bit out there, maybe a little fast or maybe a little slow or just he pulsed in a way that was so organic and you would try everybody came to Van Halen shows and everyone had different reasons for going, but so many guitar players you would see just kind of air guitaring along with Eddie for like 80% of the show. You know, you're talking, you go get your beer, you talk a little bit, you get into some trouble, and then you're sitting there watching Ed play the guitar. It was fantastic. On this show had more. It was a little more of a Sammy vibe. It was just more about the songs and you know the crowd and the good feels and good vibes and the memories and it was great. I loved it, but yeah, I just really miss Ed, man. So anyway, fantastic show, fantastic audio. They needed to turn the audio down out of the back speakers, and I think later on they fixed it. In the beginning, it sounded like everything was distorting. When Michael Anthony came out he did the "Ain't Talking About Love," I think, and sang it. He either played harder or they turned his bass up. It was like all bass. It was fantastic. It was more bass than I think I had ever heard. Just coming through along with the rest of the band. It was fantastic to hear that. And once again, it made me wish I had Eddie and Alex playing those songs, you know, with this modern processing. I think, you know, probably about halfway through or a little bit later, they got the volume set a little bit better. I think I was in earplugs at that point though. Again, you could see here where the speakers are. They're just so close. They were a little bit higher up, but there was no space and no way to get away from just that blasting, that modern 24-bit audio just, you know, peaked all the way. And I think that's definitely something the sound mixers, the live sound people are going to have to get a good feel for, especially on these bands, which really pulse during the choruses and during the solos, and they want to have the like super loud to the moon volume. Yeah, but it was tough. I'm glad I used the earplugs for a lot of it because my ears are not ringing a ton now. But even with the earplugs, the ears are definitely still ringing a little bit. So, but yeah, even with the rain, the lightning, missed the opener. Great show. Absolutely fantastic. It made me miss Eddie even more. But I was really grateful to have the opportunity to bring my family and let them see some of a little bit of the Van Halen magic from way back. And what I really wanted is I wanted to show my daughter that, you know, here's some old school musicians that did not use auto-tune they actually learned how to play really, really good. And this is how they used to do it. And these guys are, still some of the top musicians. Although Sammy's getting a little bit up there, and I saw he was skipping a lot of lines. Even my daughter noticed. She liked his voice, but she said, "Dad, he's skipping every other line." I said, "I know, because he's a little bit older. He can't sing as much now." So, but yeah, it was really great to see them, and I'm glad I was able to, hopefully pass on to the next generation a little bit what just raw, refined talent in rock is, because I know that talent is just now being formed, but there's not a ton of it out there now as far as new artists. So I look forward to seeing more artists come and take the mantle away from the mighty Van Halen. So thank you to Sammy, Mike. I think it was John Bonham and Joe Satriani. You guys were incredible. And I think that's all I had for this week. This was a late night last night, so we're gonna. This is all I've got for this week. Take care, everyone. Stay healthy, stay happy, and remember, be massive.